You likely view yourself as a creature of the 21st century, perfectly adapted to a world of glass, steel, and digital light. But that feeling is an illusion. The face you see in the mirror is an antique. Your biological blueprint was finalized, locked, and printed roughly 200,000 years ago. Our ancient ancestors possessed the exact same physical features and cognitive capacity that you do today. If you walked into a museum and looked into the eyes of a bust from ancient Rome, you would simply see yourself. For billions of years, life on this planet followed a strict rule. Organisms had to bend their biology to fit a hostile environment. Humanity decoupled from this process. We did not wait a million years to evolve a dense coat of fur for the freezing winter. We built a fire. We constructed a technological shield, and we forced the environment to fit us. This shield extends deep into our own bodies. Before the 1920s, a child born with type 1 diabetes rarely survived to adulthood, meaning the genes associated with that condition were purged from the population. With the discovery of insulin, a fatal biological flaw became a manageable condition. We pressed the pause button on the brutal filter of survival of the fittest. By keeping genetically vulnerable individuals alive and allowing them to pass on their DNA, we suspended natural selection. But the engine of evolution did not stall out, it shifted. We moved from a species shaped by the random, grinding gears of nature to one capable of intentional design. That intentional design begins with reproduction. In vitro fertilization initially served as a medical workaround, but it successfully moved conception out of the dark, chaotic environment of the human body. In the sterile precision of the laboratory, we can now read an embryo's DNA and pre-screen its potential genetic future. Screening is merely observation. To take control, we need the ability to write. Tools like CRISPR function as molecular scissors. They allow scientists to scroll through our 3 billion letters of genetic code, locate a specific fatal typo, and physically cut it out. Once the technology to rewrite DNA becomes safe, it becomes a product. Clinics will soon offer upgrade packages. Parents will pay to optimize the ACTN3 gene for denser muscle mass, select specific eye pigmentation, or purchase an extra 10 points of IQ for their child. This data visualization shows how wealth will dictate biology. The genetic lottery was always blind to class, but directed evolution follows the money. These expensive upgrades will be restricted exclusively to those who can afford them. Over generations, this financial advantage compounds into a biological one. We see a single human lineage permanently splitting into 2 separate pathways based entirely on asset accumulation. The rich will not simply possess more capital. They will live longer, process information faster, and resist disease entirely. This dynamic will physically fracture the human race into the enhanced elite and the unedited poor, triggering speciation by wallet. Even a genetically perfected human brain faces a strict mechanical limit. Our neurons fire at roughly 120 meters per second. That speed was adequate for tracking a predator on the savannah, but it is agonizingly slow compared to the speed of light governing our digital networks. Our biological bandwidth is choking our technological potential. To bypass this bottleneck, we are developing brain-computer interfaces, often referred to as a neural lace. This ultra-fine, glowing metallic mesh weaves directly into the cortex. It dissolves the barrier between mind and machine, translating the electrochemical spikes of a human thought directly into the digital code of a network. But the brain is a ruthless economist. It operates on a strict use-it-or-lose-it budget. If you outsource your memory to a server and your navigation to a GPS, those neural circuits go silent. The brain marks them as waste and begins to prune the connections. As we lean harder on the digital crutch, our physical brains will atrophy and shrink. We are trading internal cognitive power for external processing speed. By eroding our own internal landscape, the human being is degrading into a thin client, a biological terminal that relies entirely on a massive external digital server to function. While our minds merge with the cloud, our bodies will face a different pressure off-world. Leaving Earth means abandoning the protective environment that finalized our anatomy. Out in the void, the extreme physical forces of space will begin sculpting our flesh once again. Consider the gravity of Mars, which is only 38% as strong as Earth's. The human body will stop maintaining dense bone struts and heavy tension cable muscles. A colonist born in this environment will stretch out, elongating into a fragile 7-foot-tall giant, moving with low-energy grace. Further out, near the icy moons of Jupiter and Saturn, sunlight is incredibly weak. Surviving this deep solar twilight will force the evolution of massive light-gathering eyes. The pupils will remain permanently dilated, consuming the iris to capture every stray photon, while the useless shield of melanin fades, leaving the skin translucent and pale. For the nomads living in zero-gravity orbital habitats, the concepts of up and down vanish entirely. The muscular pillars of the human leg become dead weight. Over generations, the legs will atrophy, and the feet will regain the ancient prehensile dexterity of an ape, built for grabbing rails and navigating three-dimensional corridors. These adaptations come with a heavy price. A Martian giant or a void-born nomad could never withstand the crushing gravity of Earth. This extreme physical isolation will make interbreeding impossible. Colonizing space will permanently shatter Homo sapiens into a collection of isolated alien species. Genetic engineering, cybernetic implants, and deep space adaptation all share a single fatal limitation. They are entirely dependent on biological meat. The body remains a heavy, fragile sack of water, tethered to a narrow range of temperature and the slow entropy of aging. This diagram illustrates the concept of substrate independence. It argues that the mind, your memories, fears, and personality, is not a physical object, but a complex pattern of information. And like any software, if you copy the code by converting biological neural pathways into binary data nodes, you can run it on a different machine. This is whole brain emulation. We map every synapse and record the exact strength of every connection. Then we transfer that consciousness out of the wetware of the human brain and upload it into silicon. The moment of that transfer terminates Darwinian evolution. Natural selection only applies to organisms that die. By migrating into a digital architecture, we achieve immortality. Without death, the blind, brutal mechanism of random mutation stops entirely. We look in the mirror and assume we are the finished product. We are not. We are the critical transition species. We are the bridge standing between 4 billion years of blind biological struggle and a limitless, intentionally designed digital future.